Back in studio with the guys, plenty to pick at on both sides of this one, and oftentimes we lead with the winner, but I feel like broader strokes can be made on the loser here. When you look at Jake Browning's play, found some stuff in the second half, maybe not the reclamation of the fourth quarter that we saw from Cam Ward, but where are the inefficiencies that continue to plague him?
The Bengals offense, they've just started really, really slow the last 2 weeks. Last week against the Broncos, today against the Lions. They got behind the chains, some self-inflicted penalties, whatever it may be. Jake Browning, just speed up your process a little bit, take completions earlier in the game, give your offense a chance to stay on the field. They're undermanned on defense a little bit. Feels like they're reeling a little bit on offense. So for him, play with inside yourself. Not every play needs to be a home run ball, right? It's the NFL. Sometimes the best thing is just taking a completion, letting your guys go make plays for you. So I think this Bengals offense, this Bengals team just in general needs to start a little bit quicker coming out the gates.
JJ, I only pose it that way because we talked about the fourth quarter performance for the Titans, maybe taking some heat off of Coach Callahan. The second half, fourth quarter performance here for Jake Browning, does it take any heat off of those questioning why he's currently QB1 in Cincinnati? And if not Browning, where might they be looking?
I think the questions are going to have to continue. I don't think there's any doubt about it because truly, even though the final score indicated that the Cincinnati Bengals could have made a game of this, they did not. The Detroit Lions, who we all could see in the NFC Conference Championship game, if not the Super Bowl, were in complete control of this game, in large part because there wasn't good quarterback play on the other side. Too little, too late, of course. And so what do the Cincinnati Bengals do? I reported over the weekend there have been no calls on Russell Wilson with the New York Giants or Kirk Cousins with the Atlanta Falcons. The Cincinnati Bengals are, without question, comfortable moving forward with Jake Browning. They also have Mike White and Sean Clifford on their roster. It's not going to be enough. You're not going to be able to stay afloat in this NFL until mid-December. That's the earliest, really, that Joe Burrow can come back with Jake Browning. That what they believe, Cincinnati believes, is that they're going to get the Jake Browning from 2 years ago that won them a few games while Joe Burrow was out. I think that Jake Browning is not there. The NFL is not going to allow, the defenses aren't going to allow for him to get those victories. And he is making too many mistakes, as Ben has pointed out. And so what's next for Cincinnati? They could get Russell Wilson. He's owed about $1.5 million, and you'd have to give up a day 3 draft pick. It does not appear that they have any interest in doing that. Now, I'm not saying that Russell Wilson's a savior, B-Mac. Yep. I'm not at all saying that he's going to replace Joe Burrow or anything. But even if you just got to go 500 and hope that maybe you got 6.5 wins by the time you get to mid-December, and you can make it to the playoffs with 8.5, 9 wins, they're not going to be there so long as they have Jake Browning at quarterback.
And that was the company line after the Burrow injury, is just go 500, however deep that needs to take you till Burrow is ready, right at the precipice of playoff football. But there's no 500 football in this version of the Cincinnati Bengals led by Jake Browning. Mac, he does find some stuff as he targets downfield Jamar Chase, but he also finds 3 interceptions targeting Jamar Chase downfield. So instead, I want to take you to the Detroit Lions, who continue to lead the league in scoring to this point. David Montgomery, one with the arm, one on the ground. Sam Laporta starting to get going. Are you seeing this offense continue to evolve into what we expect it to be? I mean, numbers, no matter how they roll it out there, but this feels like another step forward.
Yeah, I think this is the funnest offense to watch as a fan. They have so many toys that can get going at any given time, and I love their ability to equally get everyone their share. I'm just waiting on Jamison Williams to show up as well. And we know once he gets involved, good luck in trying to slow this offense down. We knew this would be a really, really good year for Detroit. I think the biggest concerning thing with this team was, what will this offense look like without Ben Johnson? Week 1, it was a bit sketchy, but now they have found their rhythm, and Jared Goff is wheeling and dealing, and they have so many riches surrounding Jared Goff. It makes his life that much easier. So they're the cream of the crop in the NFC, and I say that with confidence because they're playing some really good football, and any concern or question that all of us have had, they've answered them so far.
Resounding answers after that loss to start the season against the Green Bay Packers. Looking forward to getting those two on a field again later in the season. I'm glad you brought up Jared Goff because he He was second in the NFL coming into this week, completing 74% of his passes. He goes 19 of 23 here. The efficiency in which he's running this offense, that isn't necessarily dink and dunk. What level of skill has that required from Goff to this point?
I think as a fan, people have almost just become numb to Jared Goff going out and doing this every single week. The efficiency that he plays with, no turnovers, high completion percentage. You hit it, B-Mac. This offense has playmakers everywhere, right? What's the term they use? Circle the wagons. This Lions offense is a wagon. When they don't beat themselves, when they don't turn the ball over, they're really, really hard to beat. They play really good complementary football. Starts and stops with Jared Goff, and he did another unbelievable job today, taking care of the ball and putting points on the board.
You know, we love to bring a little green room out to the set here for you guys, and we were having the way too early MVP conversation, and names were tossed about. Jared Goff not said in that conversation. Should he be, at this point of the season, amongst the favorites to have the inside track to an MVP trophy? Or, in recent seasons, we've seen surrounded by too much talent. Is that his plague?
Well, we were talking in the green room about the top 3 candidates. You vote on 5. And so I could see Jared Goff being in the top 5 consideration right now. You have Josh Allen ahead of a big primetime tilt with an AFC East opponent. You have Dak Prescott, who if they had more wins, I think everybody would have at the top of the MVP list. And even with the few wins that they do have, some may have him at number 1 right now. You have Baker Mayfield doing what he's doing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4-1. Jared Goff probably has to be in the mix. I know I'm missing somebody.
Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua, I mean, he has to. Jerry Rice didn't win the MVP when he set all-time records.
Yeah.
So,
but when you look at what he's doing, I mean, the pace, the record pace that he's on right now, who knows? But to your point with the quarterbacks, yes, I think in this early part of the season, all those quarterbacks you name have really done a great job in being a high-level player, but doing so in a consistent rate. So this is a fun year for quarterback play because you mentioned some names. You didn't throw out Lamar. You didn't throw out Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing some other names show up to the party, and I love it.
I think you could throw Matthew Stafford in there as well, right? The old wily veteran. This dude's playing unbelievable. Puka Nacua isn't who he is without Matthew Stafford, without Sean McVay. So throw Matthew Stafford in there as well.
That's a top 5 name.
Good news. 13 weeks to figure it out. We just wanted to offer a little bit of our early analysis, and I think Jared Goff deserves a little bit more love than he's gotten to this point. Closing thoughts on this one. Detroit moves forward with the win. Cincinnati with the loss. It's the result, Mac, that we expected coming out of this game, the way that we got there, maybe in line with expectation as well. Where do these two teams go from here? Maybe a clearer path for Detroit, but what is the path forward for the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, forward, they're not going anywhere, honestly. I think best case scenario is trying to be in that 500 range when you get to December. But right now with Jake Browning, he's limited in what he can do. And when he's pressing, he's not throwing the football where he needs to throw the football. Four games he's played, he's had 8 interceptions. 8 interceptions. And what we saw in the fourth quarter, it was kind of fool's gold. Detroit took their foot off the gas. You saw some garbage points, some garbage stats. But in terms of rocking with Jake Browning the rest of the way or till mid to late December, and if you're Cincinnati thinking you can get into the playoffs, it's not happening at all. So for Cincinnati, to your point, JJ, if it seems like they're content with Jake Browning, they should be content with their season ending in the final week of the season.
It would be over for them. I got a text from a source who said, we've talked about wasting Joe Burrow's prime with a lack of an offensive line in front of him or some deficiencies on the defense. How about wasting Jamar Chase? Because that's what the Cincinnati Bengals are doing, believing what we all see, that Jake Browning is not going to get the job done for the next 2.5 to 3 months. It's not going to happen. And I believe Zach Taylor, after this game, is over here saying, look, these turnovers, it's going to start making me question whether I keep rolling with Jake Browning. But still, going with a guy who's on the roster isn't going to be enough. The Cincinnati Bengals, who never, ever make in-season trades, they have a month before the November 4th trade deadline to get another signal caller, legitimate signal caller in there.
You talked about Zach Taylor. Is there any scenario with them this season could his seat become extremely hot?
It's hard to say because you're missing Joe Burrow. And I think we all know at the start of the year, if you say this is going to be a Cincinnati Bengals team who's going to be on backup quarterbacks all year, you say, well, that's Zach Taylor's fault. Nah, it's hard to do. This is a defense that was it's lacking talent. And Al Golden can do whatever he can do at defensive coordinator. This was never going to be that strong of a defense. So this was always going to be a 2025 Cincinnati Bengals team that had to win in shootouts. We're seeing the other team score. We're not seeing the Cincinnati Bengals score. I don't know that you can hang that on the head coach necessarily.
Whoever the mercenary man is in that position, going to need some semblance of a run game. Jake Browning, the leading rusher in this game for the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously running from behind. Not a lot of time to get into that traditional run game script, as Ben pointed out. It's a team playing from behind, and you can find some Jamar Chase down the stretch, but you never want your wide receiver with 3 tackles and 6 receptions.
I mean, unless it's Travis Hunter.
Then, point well taken. You'd take that stat line any day of the week.
That's right.
A PBU would be nice as well.